In school, we have all had to read books that we don't necessarily want to read. And not only that, we have also had to read them at a pace that was set by the teacher. Well, if that never happened to you, then you're lucky. I know this happened to me starting in middle school. Middle school assigned reading only got worse as I entered high school, especially having to read books like The Odyssey, The Catcher in the Rye, and The Grapes of Wrath. For the most part, I've always loved English class, except when I knew we were going to have to read another book. Then I began to dread it. I would either skim the reading or try to find summaries online, anything that would prevent me from actually reading the story, but still allowed me to do my work. I started getting so good at finding shortcuts that I ended up not even giving new books a try and went immediately to what I'd been doing before. However, once I started college, things began to change. I started having to read for class less and less, and started reading for pleasure more and more. Being able to read for myself was a crucial part of figuring out who I was as a reader. I spent the time reading books and figuring out what type of books I enjoyed. Through this newly found hobby of mine, I came to discover that I like young adult novels and books in the fantasy genre. Over this past summer, I read the whole Twilight Saga. I know, not the best choice, but they were still decent stories, and much, much better than the movies. I also read all of the Harry Potter novels, which were beyond amazing, and pretty much my favorite series ever. I am currently reading Dead Until Dark, a Sookie Stackhouse novel. This novel is also part of a series. True Blood, a show on HBO, is based on the books. The story is through the eyes of a local girl, Sookie Stackhouse, who also happens to be a telepath. The story follows her and her journey of love, heartbreak, and the supernatural. I'm only on the first book of the series, and I already cannot wait to read the rest. Having the time to read for myself is not the only component to my renewed love of reading. Technology has also took part in me wanting to read more. With more recent technology, reading books, novels, and short stories is more accessible. I have an e-reader, which is much easier for me to carry around than multiple books at a time. My e-reader and phone allow me to have all the books I am reading on one device, which is very handy. All of these elements come together to create who I am as a reader. It lets me understand what type of books I like to read and lets me read whenever I have the chance. I think any time that allows students, and really anyone for that matter, have time to read for themselves instead of reading what others tell them to is important. Having time to read for fun allows students the choice of choosing what they want to read, when they feel like reading it, and at their own pace, however fast or slow they feel comfortable with. Reading is crucial for everyone, especially for students. It not only allows us to gain knowledge, but it also allows us to unwind and relax. We all need a time like this at some point in our lives, and I am now, personally, discovering just how important reading really is.